Hello again, Isabel Evans here, another vlog for the Scottish Testing Group, so thank you to them for hosting me. What I want to talk about today is what we mean by quality and what we mean by testing. And as usual, I haven't necessarily got answers for you, I've more got questions. One of the things that came out from the research I've been doing so far is that there seems to be a greater variety of people doing testing in more complex roles, multifaceted roles, taking different approaches, they're in different domains, they've got different backgrounds, different skill sets. It's to describe somebody as a tester, a software tester, isn't a simple thing. It means so many different things to different people. To describe somebody as a tester can also mean that it's not software they're testing, or it's not just software they're testing. And also, if you talk to different people, they have different understandings of what you mean by the word quality, what you mean by software quality, how you go about testing, the nature of it as an activity. And some of that is actually going to be a focus for my next set of research, to try and see what the different strands of thoughts are and analyse them in some way. And I know, for example, with Brett Petticord and schools of testing, some of that's been done already, but I'm more focused, I think, on what that means for people in terms of their approaches and what tools they need. So a slightly different focus, even though it'll be pulling on work that people have done in the industry and in academia before. So let's start by thinking about the word quality. And any of you who have been on a course with me will know I talk about this a lot. But of course, it means different things to different people. If we take as an example clothing, if we talk about clothing, if you wanted to buy a suit, you could go to Savile Row and you would pay a lot of money and you would have a really beautifully made garment that would last you decades. So if you had the money and you wanted a garment that was going to last you decades, a suit that was going to be there for, going to wear it for the next 40 years and it's still going to look good, maybe that's a good investment for you. But maybe you haven't got that money. But that doesn't mean you want something that's badly made. You're still looking for quality in some way. And I think it's the same with software. It's possible to under-engineer that. It's also possible to over-engineer what we're offering to our customers and our end users, giving them more than they want. And sometimes that actually causes more problems than something that's under-engineered. If people want something really cheap and simple and easy to use, then giving them lots of extra functionality, for example, doesn't help them at all. So then something that we think we've put a lot of engineering skill into, delivered a lot of functionality, for the end user is not a quality solution to their problem because they can't use it. And I personally like the way that somebody called Garvin described quality, actually in a manufacturing setting, and Eric van Veenendaal did some good work on bringing this into software quality and looking at it in a software quality point of view, and that's where I first heard about it, but I've used it a lot. I hold this in my mind a lot, because he talked about there are different viewpoints for quality. And one of those is the engineering or manufacturing viewpoint. So that says, what methods did we use to build this artifact or this piece of software? Did we use good engineering principles? Did we follow some sort of specification and meet that specification? Have we delivered what is required from us in terms of what was agreed in the specification? Have we tested it well? How many defects did we find in it? Those types of things. So we can have something that from the manufacturing point of view is a good piece of engineering. We can say that is good quality from that point of view. But then what Garvin talks about is the product view of quality. So this is the attributes of the product, which can include its functionality, but is actually also performance and usability and reliability and security, all those other things that in testing sometimes we refer to as non-functional, which I think is a little misleading. I prefer to talk about software attributes. And these are measurable, so we can specify what's needed and we can measure through testing and through observation whether we've met the characteristics, the attributes that are required at the level that they're required. So that's another way of looking at it. It's still quite technical in a way, but it leads on to thinking about things like what's called quality in use and to user experience, which is a whole other topic that I'll talk about perhaps another time. And then what Garvin talks about is the value view of quality. And he's saying there, can the customer afford it? Is it the right price point for them? Have they paid the amount of money that they wanted to pay? Is it good value for money? And you can see there, thinking back to the clothing example, your price point tells you something about value. So if you can't afford a Savile Row suit, you might go to an ordinary department store and you might be paying 1/10 of the cost. You're still expecting quality for that price point. You're expecting reasonable quality fabric. You're expecting that it's been sewn together properly, that there's no defects in it, that it works, that it's fit for purpose. It's good value for money. And he talks about the user view of quality. And the user view of quality says, can I, as the person who's acquired this piece of software or other product or artifact, can I use it for what I want to do? So that means that for different people, the same piece of software, they might have a different view of the quality. So if when you're using a piece of software, because of the route you're taking through, because of the particular way you're using it, you encounter a lot of bugs, you're going to see that as low quality software. And somebody else could use the same piece of software and see it as really good quality simply because the tasks they're doing are a different set of tasks. Now, notice how that conflicts with what we get when we look at manufacturing view. So we might, as software testers, as IT teams, produce a piece of software, we've tested it, we believe it to be working well, we think it's good quality, we put it out in the field, many people like it, many other people might be using it in a way that we hadn't thought of. So their experience of it is quite different. And it's a valid experience, but we hadn't thought about that way of using it. So I think that's an interesting one. And then the final one, which I actually think is the hardest to measure but the most important, is the transcendent view of quality. And that says, how do people feel about this? In their minds, in their hearts, do they trust you as the person who's providing them with this piece of software? Would they come to you again? Do they like working with you? It's very, very intangible for many of us to think about those things, but people's emotional responses to a product and to the team and the company that produced that product is vital. So people will be loyal to a particular brand. People might be loyal to Apple or loyal to Linux or loyal to their particular group. We need to consider that. What do we do in all our interactions to build people's loyalty and to build their trust in us? It's not so much them being loyal to us as them trusting us by us behaving in a trustworthy manner and us providing them with what they need and listening to what they need. So I think that's all I'm going to say on this topic for this vlog. But kind of nothing matters if we don't actually do what people need and they don't trust us. We could be doing the best engineering in the world and it wouldn't get through to its audience. And we need to be aware of that as an IT industry. So I'll pick up on this in the next vlog. See you soon.